Why, yes, that is a framed photo of Tom Holland on my bedside table. This card usually sits on the other one. Hey everyone, long time no talk. I know. I have a very good reason for it though. I've just recently, and I say recently, but it's been about 5 months, moved into a teeny tiny apartment that is right on a train line and the windows don't close. And so I constantly have the sound of trains going past. But I really wanted to make a video because I have been doing some exciting new things recently. And it's actually made me think a lot about the idea of falling. Now, I consider myself to be a pretty lucky person. I take to a lot of skills really easily, and when I find a skill that I don't take to immediately, I tend to just give up immediately. I think part of the reason that I avoid putting any effort into learning these skills that I don't take to naturally straight away is that I hate the idea of failing. To me, not getting something right feels like I have let myself down and I've let down the people who are trying to teach me these skills. And that's something that I've really struggled with. But a couple of months ago, I decided that I wanted to learn to play roller derby. There were a couple of problems there though. The first and probably the biggest of which being that I had never roller skated before. Growing up, my mum had one rule, and you can ask any of her children this. They will tell you, mummy rule number 1 is don't stand on things with wheels. But I was determined, so I went whole hog from the get-go. I got one of my incredible friends, her name is Lara, and she's a Twitch streamer. I'll leave her details down below. She's incredibly talented and a musician. You should check her out. But she used to play roller derby, and she went out with me to get my first pair of skates, and I invested in a decent pair because I figured if I had a financial incentive, I would actually keep going. Which, to be fair, was my same reasoning behind getting a gym membership, and we all know how that turns out. But in this case, I actually did stand up on my roller skates and I had my first lesson with Lara. And that whole first lesson was focused on falling. Now to me, the idea of falling was incredibly scary. I had fallen a couple of years ago off one of those hoverboard things and broken my wrist, and I was terrified. But the idea of your first lesson in preparing for roller derby being all about falling is to make sure that you know how to fall safely. When you are playing roller derby, it is inevitable that you are going to hit the ground. If you haven't, then you're not really playing roller derby. And so for my first ever roller skating lesson, I spent about an hour to an hour and a half with my friend on a quiet back street, just hitting the floor over and over and over and over again. Now, on that first day, I was so terrible at skating, I could barely wobble, and I was so scared of even picking one foot up that I couldn't actually stride like you push off when you're roller skating. I had to keep both feet planted firmly on the floor at all times. At practice today, though, I completed a full 15 laps of a roller derby track in 5 minutes. Now, that's nowhere near the number of laps that I'm meant to be able to do in order to actually play roller derby, but I need to acknowledge that that is an incredible achievement for someone who 2.5 months ago could barely stand on her roller skates. And there are people in the group of skaters who are learning along with me who are leaps and bounds ahead of me. Literally, they're jumping over cones. It's ridiculous. And I have to admit, it hurts a little bit. I'm used to being one of those people who just takes to things immediately and is at the top of the pack of learners. It's a little bit of a hit to the ego to find myself at the back of the pack of learners. It's not something that I experience very often, just because as soon as I find something that I'm not immediately good at, I just immediately give up on it. But something that the trainers at roller derby keep on drilling into us is the idea that we deserve the time and the space to learn at our own pace. And I think that is a really beautiful thing to remember, not just when it comes to roller derby, but also in life. You deserve the space and the time to learn new skills. Falling down doesn't mean failing. The only real failure is when you don't get up and try again. I am so proud of myself for what I have done in 2.5 months of roller skating practice, and I can't wait to see where I am in the next 3 months. In fact, I'm more proud of my roller skating journey than I am of skills that come to me naturally, like public speaking. I find that it's the skills that take a little bit of extra effort and a little bit of extra love that are the most rewarding when you actually get them right. So if there is a skill that you have been dying to try, but it's just been too difficult, I really encourage you to give yourself the space and the time to learn. And if you ever reach a moment where you've fallen one too many times and you think you just want to give up, remember, I believe in you. See you next time. You do not realize how many trains go past you here until you're trying to record a video. I feel like Elwood in the Blues Brothers.